Hi, in this video we are going to continue the creation of the web design prototype index.psd, and this is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. The notes for this video can be found on this web page. It is loaded here. Okay, at the end of this video you should be able to create this banner, okay, which is on top of the bevel effects we created. Okay, let me close this file. We don't need this file for the time being. So this is where we stopped. All right. Before we move on, let's do some housekeeping. Let's rename this by double-clicking on the name. Let's call it rectangle middle. Let's double-click on this name and rename it to rectangle bottom. And let's create a clipping mask by first creating a new layer. Make sure that it's a new layer, not a new group. Okay, make sure it's a new layer. And then rename this layer to clipping mask. Okay, and use the rectangular marquee tool. Move this up a little bit. Create a rectangle that is 980 times 140 pixels. Okay, width is 980. Height is 140, as you can see in the next to my icon, next to my mouse icon. Okay, and let's choose a very bright foreground color. A bright green would be good, and then use the paint bucket tool to fill up this, and then I think I can hit enter, or I can use the mouse, use the move tool, or choose the move tool or something. All right, and I want to let's do a select, deselect. Okay, idea select, deselect. So I'm not selecting that clipping mask layer anymore, so that I can do other things. All right, if you don't deselect that, you may not be able to perform some tasks. Before I move on, I want to duplicate this layer so that later if I want to create another banner, I can just keep duplicating the clipping marks layer without touching other things. Oh, let's call this clipping marks top, just in case I have another clipping mark somewhere else. So right click, duplicate layer, create a copy of this. So now we have two layers of clipping marks, just some really bright marquee, rectangular marquee. Select the top clipping mask layer, the one on top, and before I move on, let's collapse this effect so that we don't see so many things here. Still select the top, and in our C10 web design folder, we have a subfolder that contains all the images that we need, which is downloaded from here. Okay, and we need to use this and that. So let's try this one first. Let's do a file open. Go and navigate to your C10 web design, this folder, look for 001, and then go to window, arrange, tool out vertical. Okay, choose the move tool, drag this over to this side, close this. Now, this is going to be big, so I'm going to zoom it out. Press the alternate key to zoom out, zoom, alternate, out. And I need to resize this to something that can fit into here. So select this and do an edit, free transform. When you resize this, make sure press the shift key to make it slightly smaller, and then use the move tool. Do you want to apply transformation? Yes, apply. When you click on that move tool, they will ask you that question. So move this to somewhere here. Okay, and then you can move this down to this layer and then rename it to road. Of course, you don't have to rename it, but rename it to road, and then you right click on it and say right click on the, not on the picture, but right click on the name or the space next to it and say I want to create clipping mask. So they will follow the layer below, and what is there will be seen. What is not there will be blocked. Okay, so the very bright green color rectangle will be seen, will be see-through. So this is what you see. Okay. All right, let me zoom it in a little bit. But the problem is Photoshop would keep all the information about the photograph, so the size of your your canvas become much bigger. Remember, it was 980 times 700. Now it becomes the size of the photograph, because in theory, if you select this, you can still use the arrow key to move it. That's why Photoshop actually allow you to adjust it. They store all the information of the photograph. Okay, which, you know, it's kind of weird, but it gives you the benefit of adjusting stuff later. Okay, which is, I think it's all right. Okay, so we now need to move on to create the other part. Okay, which is the dog. So let's do a file open. 007. Again, we want to move this over, so we go to Window, Arrange, Vertical, Move to, drag this over, close this. Oh, this is huge. So let's zoom out. Alternate key to zoom out. Okay, and we want to put it here. All right. So we did a free transform. Press the Shift key. Okay. Press the Shift key to resize. Is to keep the aspect ratio. Very important. You do not distort the photo no matter what. Okay, so always press the Shift key when you resize. So press the Shift key to keep the aspect ratio. You can move it and press the Shift key again. You can zoom in a little bit. Do you want to apply transformation? Apply. You can zoom in a little bit. And then you can do the edit free transform again. Press the Shift key. Press the Shift key when you resize. Press the Shift key. Press the Shift key. Okay, I think the size is good. Okay, so before we apply the clipping mask, we want to cut out the head of the dog. Okay, so let's hit enter first. I hit enter so that the transformation is done. Make this slightly bigger. Use the Eclipse Marquee tool. Okay, and we need some special effect. We need a feather effect. So let's say use 35 feather when you cut. Okay, and when you cut, if you want to move this, you can press the space bar and move. Space bar to move. Let's say this is what we like. Release the space bar and release the mouse. So you cut it out. Okay, you can do an edit. Cut. Okay, and then I don't need this later. I go down to my background layer or here or something, and I say I want to create a new layer, and then I do an edit, paste. So you can see that the head of the dog is here. Well, I don't need this layer 1 anymore, so I trash layer 1 and I choose my layer 2, rename it to doggy, and then I can use the move tool to move the dog to the space I want. Which is, or you can use the arrow key to move it slightly further. I think here is fine. It blends very nicely to the background. Okay, so that's the position I want. I can simply say drag this in between the row and the clipping mask. Oh, sorry, I did step backward. Because then although the clipping mask is created, is covered by the row. That's not what I want. So I say right click here, right click the doggy, and then I say create clipping mask. Okay, so this one is applied to the clipping mask as well. Okay, just make sure that the row does not cover the doggy. If you put the doggy beside the row, obviously the row is on top. You don't see the doggy, although the doggy is there. Okay, and when you create clipping mask, you can right click here. You can create, you can release, you can create again, you know, that is fine. So if you release, you see the original. If you right click create, clipping mask is created. So that's a good place to stop. We are done here. In the next video, probably we need to put something here. Okay, let's do a file save before we stop. We'll continue in the next video. Thanks for watching.